Hey everybody, this is Lee, and it is Let Us Say It For You.
Big Mike
in the building. It's my girl, not yours, mine.
There she go with this shit.
There I go with this shit. So, okay, we'll talk about Mila. So shout out to Mila. Mila's blog is called, it's 5, how do you say it?
5'10".
5'10". Shout out to Mila Cooper. Coop.
Yeah.
She's a lovely married gal that Micah met at FAMU University, right? Or FAM University.
FAMU.
That place. And she has a blog. So she had a recent issue, I guess. She had a conversation with somebody. And we're going to talk about this conversation because I was so aggravated when Micah told me about it. But basically the whole thing of it is like how black you are. You know what I mean? Like if you're black enough.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. Mila felt a little uncomfortable about it. She called Micah to clarify, like, you know, do you and Leah ever feel weird? Did she say you and Leah or was it just you?
She said, do we feel weird expressing ourselves as far as a backlash? That's when she invited us in. But she asked me along the lines of, you know, do I feel like there is a particular way to be black? That's what she asked me.
Okay.
Who's that woman?
It's just still. Is there a particular way to be black? And she had a conversation with a man of like African descent. So like he's like fresh out of Africa.
He's like Nigerian or something.
I'm gonna let Micah explain this, but I need you guys to like just open your ears and listen. Just listen to this shit. Accurate.
So basically, he was saying my friend doesn't act like she went to a HBCU. And if you don't know what an HBCU is, it's a historically black college. I'm not sure how you act like you go to one of those, but I digress. Mila is not black enough, right? So that means she doesn't, and this is totally stereotypical, y'all. Because I'm going based off what people think black is. And what people think black is that we speak with slang and ebonics all the time. Popping gum real loud. We're really, really loud.
We love
very
collard
expressive.
greens. We wear Jordans every day. We go to the grocery store with bonnets on.
Rims, gold teeth,
like nails. Shout out to them.
Long nails.
Long nails.
Colored hair, lace fronts, weave all the way down to your
gold
feet.
Teeth.
Just anything stereotypical that you can think of. This is what I'm basing off being black, like what really being black is. And this is the worldview that people have of black people. An African person that she works with, he is, you know, originator of Africa, and he came to America for whatever reason. But he's here. They had a conversation, and she was like, I'll go to FAMU. He was like, you went to FAM? She was like, yes, I did. And he's like, you don't act like you go to a HBCU. Now, mind you, I don't know what he meant by that. And I think most people who say things like that don't know what they mean either. Mm-hmm. But I think it's coming from a stereotypical point of view from what they've heard or what they've seen on television, just to be real. I don't think any of these people have ever met an African American before. I don't think they ever met a black, a Negro, a colored, whatever. I think they just heard about it, right? So it's easy to infer and assume about something that you don't know about. So Mila called me and was like, damn, like this is like the 100th time that I've heard this. Like, is it me? Like what is black enough? I don't understand. I was just like, there's no such thing as being black enough. You're black. That's it. And so there's so many different hues of black people. There's so many different cultural rituals, you know, that Jamaican, Haitian, Bahamian, shit, we got Scotland and Irish black people, like African black people. So like there's no like one way of being black, but I think the way that he views black people is under one minimal scope of how he thinks we are based on what he's heard. And so Mila doesn't fit into that. Mila speaks very properly. She's very poised. The thing that she likes is mostly on the Anglo-Saxon side. If she would probably choose beer over Hennessy, like little things like that, that I feel will fuel someone to believe. Dang, have you even seen Friday? Have you even seen Menace to Society? Like very stereotypical hood stuff, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
And so what she was trying to figure out, she was like, dang, Michael, like I'm feeling really bad. Like my own people are saying I'm not black enough or I don't act black enough. And is it to be should I be ignorant? Is that what makes me really black? What makes me pro-black? What makes me all black is to be ignorant and poverty-stricken and just low standards for myself that I can't even speak correct English. That
and the definition of ignorance, to run it up, is the ability to know better and choosing not to. So you got to think about it like this. Like, I can easily be informed about everything going on with black people around the world. I can easily be informed about slavery. We all know it happened. It's another thing to go and research exactly what happened. So if I chose not to do that, I'm ignorant to that topic.
Yeah.
Right? But I have everything in front of me available to figure it out.
Right.
So she's right. So what you want me to do? Just not know?
Yeah. And also, like I said, it comes to like exposure and the way that you were raised.
Right.
Culturally, we're all raised differently. Not all black people are raised the same way. And I think you want to harp on the poverty-stricken one, the Section 8 one, the welfare one. That is not all black people. That's what they want you to believe that we're like. And so the moment you meet somebody and they say, wow, you're not what I thought. And you ask them, what the hell do you mean by that? Because what they have in their mind is the stigmatized African American in America that is lazy, that does nothing for work, that always needs hands out, that always blah, blah, blah. So they have already created a narrative for us that we're trying to change. And so Mila's thing is, there's so many different types of black people. We have 1% of black people. Jack and Jill, for example, is a association of black and brown people that are in the top 1%. They like millionaires, billionaires. Do they give back? Not often. But do they exist? Yes. So it's all different types of middle class. It's a classist situation. So a lot of African people believe, and this is based off of the African people that I know, and I need to say that again, I know at least six Africans that I have spoken to have said that their parents would be displeased with them if they married an American that was black. If you marry a black American, you have disgraced the family. I'd rather you date a white male or female. And they are triggered more by status. It's a class thing. And if you think class-wise, black people are low on the totem pole. Most brown people are. Right. But this African guy was just basically saying, yeah, like, I don't understand. Like, black women are so dominant and they're not used to being like submissive. Like, they're too strong and I don't think they like me. So he's dating a white woman, by the way. No shade. But it speaks volume about who he is based on how hard he's going for HBCUs. But for the most part, he had this back and forth debate with Mila that had her questioning if she was black enough. And Leah was saying, it comes a time where you have to be comfortable with the way you were raised and be okay with the way that you speak and be confident enough to say to those people who are ignorant enough to say, girl, you ain't black. And they'd be like, okay, cool. You're not like, well, how do you even rebuttal to things like that? So which comes back to the self-hate thing. And that's how Mila kind of ended her excerpt. We have to stop ostracizing certain people for being different, although we look the same. We do not come from the same backgrounds. We're not parented the same. Let's just keep that in mind. I have a 2-parent household up until I was 18. Most people around me did not have 2-parent households. We're different. The way that I view men to a certain degree is different because my dad was actually here, and that can be negative or positive. I could be like, girl, I feel y'all because my daddy was blah, blah, blah. Or I don't understand what you mean because my daddy was blah, blah, blah. Like, there's no telling how people feel the way that they feel based on how they were raised until you actually ask those questions. Like, you get insightful. Like, we're so different from each other. So there's not one way of being black. But those people who keep saying, you're not black enough, you're not black enough, what does it really mean? Something
Micah said he mentioned too. He was like about like American blacks. I guess we didn't even get on to the whole black thing so recently. Something about Wakanda.
Oh, so yeah. we weren't woke until we didn't want to be African associated until Wakanda. But contrary to popular belief, we were already in the process of becoming more aware of our history before Black Panther came out. Like nobody even knew there was a black comic called Black Panther because black people don't follow comics. Like if we're gonna be stereotypical, we don't read comics.
We don't fuck with
That's not a
it.
black thing. It's not.
And my thing to that was like, it's not like in Wakanda they talked about the history of slavery and how great blacks are. It showed a country full of black people, all black people that were superior to everything else. So yes, it was a big sense of pride, but it didn't have anything to do with the Shikis
My sense
and
of
everything.
pride.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It had nothing to do with that. And my biggest issue with his chastising of Mila in that situation was just like, you are saying all these things about us and you're not for once considering what the situation was. If you so woke and so aware that black people don't even do this, why don't you process the fact that maybe these things aren't taught? Think about how much we learned about slavery when we were in school, right? All the real deal things I know about slavery and how fucked up it really was, I didn't learn that in school.
College, yeah.
Yes, I didn't learn that in college. I learned it on my own. It was on the strength of, I went to Broward College and I went to University of Phoenix for my master's. None of these classes told me about the real deal stuff. I saw roots at a really young age and it really fucked me up, but this is what showed me the very fucked up side about that. And then I learned the more dramatic things that happened on my own research. So common sense from his so woke ass would let him know that they may not know that, but they probably weren't taught that because they didn't stay in Africa. They were taken away from it. So they are taught whatever the fuck the people who took them away
colonizers
want to teach them.
Boom.
That's it. And they can't ignore the fact that slavery happened anymore. So we're going to tell you, once upon a time, a really dark time in our history.
We're going to make it a page in history books.
Yeah, it's a whole page.
A whole page. Thank you so much.
Maybe a half, a page and a half.
Thank you so much for 400 and a half years
about what took place. And it was a terrible time. And they leave out the ridiculous. I just saw some shit the other day that drove me crazy. Alligator skin was a big deal. They used to use like black babies. Mm-hmm. So they used to, if you know me, you know how I feel about babies. And they used to use little black babies that a woman done carried for 9 fucking months.
Throw them in
and
the
had
water.
to push out her whole box, no epidural. They use this kid as fucking bait to get alligators so they can get alligator skin. These are the type of fucking things that took place. No, they're not going to teach us this in fucking school. We're in America. As far as they're concerned, we're lucky to be here.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So he aggravated me so much because he was such an example of a black just perpetuating hate against another one. No, we're not as Africanly inclined, I guess. Let's make up some shit for that. We're not as inclined as you are, but you know, babe, we didn't get the privilege of growing up there. And we didn't
ask for it.
Yeah, exactly. We were brought here for different reasons. My mom's side of the family's from Jamaica. They colonized there too. It's mad Indians there. They dropped off some Africans there. Now you got people like me. A mix. I got both them things going on, and this is what you get. But even there, when I grew up and learned about, I grew up there. I went to Jamaica. Like when I learned about, like they think Christopher Columbus. When I was in school back then, you know, he found this, he found that, and his Christopher Columbus Day was just Monday or something like that. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand how the fuck he has a day. I don't know why we celebrate
it's Indigenous
this
people
man
day too. They won't take it off of the calendar though.
It needs to go. Like if I had a day to like celebrate, I want Juneteenth to be a fucking national holiday that we all get to take off like every fucking body else, because 4th of July don't mean shit to black people. And I think we need to take Christopher Columbus off the fucking map. You can't discover some shit that people were already at. So that's what I'm saying. To me, what he said was very ignorant. It was very insensitive. Mm-hmm. And then you do all this capping and you with a white woman. For me, it's just like,
but he's above though. He's above.
And what
he's above.
He's above what? You get what I'm saying?
But he's above whatever. Okay, so like I said, I feel like Africans are more classist than they are. You know what I'm saying?
And you said most of their parents would advise them to be with a white,
right?
Than
it's
to
class.
be with a black.
It's how much you have. It's how much you can contribute to me. It's how much you give to me. What happened?
Nothing. Your phone connected again. You just came back home.
So at the end of the day, I think being very sensitive to the way that people are raised is the problem. And portraying certain things as you don't want to know versus things that are kept from you, right? So like like you said, when I go into school, it's only a page of slavery, right? And I always say I blame great-grandparents, to what they because
felt.
they weren't they couldn't articulate what happened. So you can't warn me for something and show me the way if it was so traumatic for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I have to re-go over this stuff. Now I have to rediscover why white people don't like me. Now I have to find my own solutions to these problems that you've already dealt with. So as far as being African descent, you need to cut black people some slack, just to be real.
Yeah.
Because culturally, all of the slack was taken, to be real. Like, they took us, you sold us, we sold each other, if we want to be real about the way it happened.
Exactly. That's how that went down.
Whether they got us drunk or not, there was some selling and some reselling of tribes and some stitching on both sides. So, yes, that's what happens when capitalism comes to play. I can offer you something. What can you give me? I'll give you people. You give me corn. That's a bullshit ass exchange. But if that's what the need with the colony was, then you took corn over a person. But at the end of the day, this whole stigma of African American people, African descent people who were born in Nigeria, raised in Nigeria, and come to America for education for whatever reason, and you have African Americans who are black, Negro, colored, whatever. They've been many things throughout history, and they're here trying to find their way, and there's so many things that are stopping them from knowing. You can't blame a person for not wanting to seek out something they think is not there. If I don't think nothing is rich about my history, I ain't looking until someone tells me, did you know that George Washington Carver created peanut butter? Did you know that a black man created the stoplight? Did you know? You like, what? Shut up. Where? Yeah. When? How?
I mean, it takes like, a lot. And we talked about this on one of our other episodes. I think it was one of the episodes of Carlin. Yeah.
For the blacks.
Yeah. And it was like, you know, being woke is almost like a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to do that, because where I can decide I'm not going to let the people at my job treat me in a different type of way because I'm the only black woman there. I can decide to walk away and leave a situation because I have multiple degrees. But again, I was privileged enough to be able to find a way to figure that out. My mom was adopted by a cousin from Jamaica. She got adopted by a cousin up here. We ended up in Michigan. She met my dad. She had me. And my mom bust her ass, got all these degrees, and I'm the same way. So this is how we were able to figure this out.
Exposure.
Yes. This is how we were able to figure this out. But this is how we're able to figure this out. But you're wanting people, and what I brought up was what Micah told me. This reminded me of what Micah taught me about being so mad at black Americans. I felt like black Americans are so lazy. Y'all want to work at McDonald's. I get it. McDonald's I don't want to work at McDonald's, but I also went to school for multiple years. This is why I don't have to work at McDonald's. But at the same time, if that's what you can do, then do it. Because I know black Americans was like, man, I ain't working at McDonald's, blah, blah, blah.
Like it's beneath you.
Yes, I have mad cousins that's in Jamaica right now that would easily get a visa because it's a privilege to come up here, get a visa and work their ass off at McDonald's like no other. And this aggravated me, but it took me talking to Micah, which is why I'm so into traveling and I'm so into conversations, because it's about, the word is exposure. She just said it. It's about exposure. You're not going to miss what you don't know. You're not going to crave what you never had. You're not going to search out some shit you didn't even know existed. So before he sits there and just decides to write off all black people and then say the most ignorant shit I ever heard, you don't look like somebody who came from HBCU. What the fuck do they look like?
Or act.
What do they act like? You know what I'm saying? What does she have to be? She got to be on the step team. She got to be like, what the fuck does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
Because I'm thinking about AKAs. The couple AKAs I know, they're a lot like me. They're very bougie. They're very sedity. They speak very well. And it's like, so they easily went to HBCU. They're an AKA. And they pledged at the school they went to. So are you going to tell these group of 1 million women that they also didn't go? Like, it's just, the shit was so ignorant. I respect her poise, if she had it, which it sounds like she probably did, in that conversation, because I would have been pissed having that conversation around anybody that wasn't black, because you got us all looking weak by saying that stupid ass shit you saying. Yeah. And I would have had to school him along the lines of still defending all black people, because you sitting here making us look crazy, not seeing how black you are, and you with a fucking white woman. Yeah. Like, get out of here, my dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have got cussed the fuck out. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. I would have done my best, but bitch.
But like, that's the thing, and I feel like exposure and conversation is what's needed. Like I said, I have a few Nigerian friends, and what they have said, honestly, is around the same thing. I think they keep it very light because I am American. But one thing that I've also heard from Caribbean people is that I'm not like most Black Americans. I have multiple jobs. Like, I'm Jamaican or I'm Haitian. Like, I don't wait around.
Be Haitian,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't wait around for things to happen. Like, I build wealth and I make. You know what I'm saying? So, to say that I can't be American is like, well, damn. Like, what do you really think about Black Americans? And I know a lot of Black Americans who have went to school and who they don't have multiple jobs, but they have very nice jobs. They have jobs that they can move up the ladder and potentially get a promotion. So it's the ones that you're encountering that you're basing everyone else off of, right? So no one would know anything about Black people if they've never seen it on television, right? So like the first time, and I think it was a study? What is her name? I think her name is Janet. White woman who talks about.
Yes, her name is Janet.
Her name is Janet. Yeah, I fuck with her. White woman who goes around the world talking about white privilege and how detrimental it is to America and how everyone is African, and she preaches this, and she's and now she's an elderly white woman preaching these things. I'm surprised she's not assassinated yet, but the way that she goes about making things make sense, it is what it is. And for you to try to distinguish yourself from me, it's only one race. It's the human race, right? The only thing that separates us is like what? The hue of our skin and our cultural differences.
Languages speak, yeah.
And the languages that we speak.
Cultural differences, yeah.
So really, at the end of the day, if we stop trying to separate ourselves from what we think is worse, because what we heard about African people is that y'all got AIDS and you're always sick and your land is weak and it has no stability and it has no wealth. And we already know Africa is the most richest still to this day, the richest continent still.
And I feel like that's
and
only
they've stripped it.
And I think that's only if you're informed enough, because that's what I was going to say right where you went. I was like, he's so quick to judge all Black people based on the stereotypes he knows. He's Nigerian. All I ever hear about Nigerian is that they scam every fucking body. Yeah. All Nigerians are mad scammers. And I'm educated enough to not bunch you into that. And you so fucking stupid. And that you'll sit here and do that.
Right. And PayPal will ban me from making a purchase from Nigeria.
Tarsha had a problem. She wasn't going to pay in Nigeria, though. Whoever she was trying to pay, they had Tarsha doing all type of mad screenings and asking her mad questions because they didn't even believe that who she was sending the money to was right. She told me about it last night. Yeah. But it was like, it seemed like a scam. Yeah,
he's Nigerian.
It seemed like a scam. And exactly. So we don't bunch you in that way. So why the fuck would you be so ignorant to do that?
And mind you, I know you hurt. I know Nigerians are hurt.
What he heard about?
But listen.
Fuck him.
I know Nigerians are hurt. Africans in general are hurt. I know Haitians are hurt. I know Jamaicans to a certain extent could possibly feel a sting because high school is a bitch. Middle school was horrible for you. You speak differently and you look differently. They can tell by your smell because your mother cooks with curry or your mother cooks with a certain scent that makes you smell and your clothes smell. Like, I already know how cruel kids are in America. Period. Kids are disgusting everywhere. So, I mind you, I've never lived anywhere but here, but it's despicable how honest children are and how they will ostracize you because you are different. And that's something that they picked up along the way from their parents and their adults around them. So, I know it was bad for them. I know Haitians are tired of hearing that they eat cat. Like, I know that stuff has to sting.
I haven't heard that in so long.
Oh my! But yes, remember,
I do remember
those things that we used to say about you were horrible. Mind you, I've never said it personally. Yeah, but if I'm speaking for the Black American,
you know they did.
They went in. You feel me? And that's to make them feel better because they were also ostracized. Mm-hmm. So how can I also hurt someone else who looks like me but is not just like me? How can I make them feel equivalent to what I feel every day? You know what I'm saying? So, yes, we have done our fair share of harming each other's egos and crushing each other's spirits based on what we look, act, and sound like. But my thing is, we are not children anymore. We are adults and we are learning adults.
Things,
you know what I'm saying? You put that shit away and you do your own research. And you gain a confidence about who you are. And hopefully you are surrounding yourself with people who are just as exposed as you are so that you don't feel alone. Because at the end of the day, you African man who were speaking to an African American woman who went to a HBCU but she didn't seem like she did, you seem to be riding the coattail of stereotypes that white America has painted for you. I'm not sure what you've been hearing in Africa.
I would have been so tight. Like, because I'm thinking because all I thought about was what we talked about with the whole Jamaicans or island people versus American people. Yeah. And then to be fair, in his defense, which I don't want to, but in his defense, I felt that way. I'm just like, man, like I said, I got mad cousins that would easily come to America and do the most basic job because, you know, it's rough in Jamaica.
They're not entitled.
Yeah, it's rough in Jamaica, and depending on what their situation is, like, it'll be great to be able to get a visa to come here and do what you got to do, right? But I've still never gone along the lines of, like, just because I guess, and the reason why I can't is because I've been a Mila, where I was very proper and I was Oreo and et cetera, et cetera. So what I did say along the lines of that was there's a lot of friends that I have to this day, at least 3 that I can think of, 2 that I talk to regularly enough. And they hated me when I first got to Lakes, like my middle school. They hated me when I first got there because I thought I was all that, which I was. I was the nicest girl. Now I'm something else, but I was the nicest girl back then, and they hated me for that. And I almost fought one of them that I'm good friends with to this day. She's bought multiple hats from my company. Me and her are close, but they hated me, and off of the strength of, oh, you Oreo, you talk white. And it was the most ignorant shit I ever heard in my life. Yeah. But back then I used to cry about it, guys. Like, oh my gosh, I just want to be their friends. I'm used to private schools where there was a few black kids, maybe 2 or 3. I was like the 4th or the 5th, and there's mad white people, and I got along with everybody. I had my perm, I blended right the fuck in. I had no problems. I come to a school with all black people, maybe 1 white kid ever, and they hated me. If I had the personality that I have now back then, we probably would have fought. I probably would have fought all of them, or I would have just ignored them and told them they was dumb as fucking called it a day. And so me as an adult feels so bad for my younger self from being so stressed out about that, because it's just like, it's all ignorance, and I blame their parents because it comes down to that. If your parents had you somehow found a way to instill proper grammar, or at least taught you not to be so judgmental or defensive,
they were able to afford better schooling.
But okay, and then the defense of that was, or taught you that just because someone's different from you, it doesn't mean you attack them in any type of way. Because it's one thing to feel like, yo, that new girl Leah thinks she the shit and you don't like me, but I'm literally about to get into fights with people. I had to defend myself every other day. The ex I had then, I dated him since then, and he low-key was my saving grace. He was very popular, and I had people trying to fight me for whatever, and then trying to fight me because I was dating him, and I was like, my nigga, I can't get a break. But he used to walk me to every class, used to walk me home. He was a gentleman then. But that's what saved me, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think in that case, I blame their parents. I mentioned that on the last, on the parenting, intentional parenting, whatever episode with Carlin. Shout out to Carlin. We were 11, 12, 13 when these kids decided that I had to be this and this and that off of nothing. And there was a few people. There was Shaida. Shout out to Shaida. She's the main one I can remember. And Ariana, who's also just as proper as me. So me and Ariana was real tight. Shaida wasn't in that, but the first day I went there, I saw her, and she was like, hi, my name is Shaida. It was 7th grade, and I was like, hi, I'm Leah, and me and her were straight since then, and she didn't make preconceived notions, and Shaida wasn't ghetto, but she wasn't proper. She was just a nice girl who didn't, and I know her mother. I call her mother mom to this day. If I see her, I hug her, everything. I can still go to her house, and that lady treated me like I was anybody else, and I think that's the way her parents raised her. And this goes into intentional raising with your kids, to piggyback on the other episode. Raise your kids to not be like that. And the thing is, but again, I'm talking to my African brethren who said the dumbass shit he said. We're expecting people who may have never been taught this type of shit to teach their kids this type of shit. How would they know, let me not raise my kid to be a dick when they go to school, when you're probably a dick? And you were probably raised by a dick. Or you didn't even think, it didn't even cross your mind to worry about that because that's kid shit and it's trivial.
And it's the classist part about it. You when you're classist, I think it's worse than, you know what, it may be on the same playing field as racist. You think you're above people. because of your status, because of how much money you make, because of your family's legacy, or whatever the case is.
I would say classes is worse.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I agree.
I'm really,
because classes is worse on the strength of
classes
we're
have
black.
a color.
We're black. Like our Nigerian friend, and he may feel like he's above this and this and that, but the gag is you think you're above so and so and so until you get around white people who treat you like every other nigga,
and they will still do it
because you still a nigga. So you're gonna get treated that way, or you get around somebody else, another that treats all blacks, whether you feel.
Right.
So I think classist is worse
Right.
because they're almost ignorant to the fact
Right.
that whatever class you
still
think
not
you're
enough.
in, you still a nigga, my G.
But and my thing, and I always come back to this: assimilate for what? What are you assimilating for?
For exception
Do what works
and
for you,
inclusion.
and
Yeah.
you're killing yourselves. You know, in corporate America, black men, the suicide rate has gone up.
I heard it's gone up with our kids too.
So
I read that like 2 days ago.
and
Our
my
black
thing
kids
when
have
it comes
gone
to
up.
corporate America, by the way, I think our kids are doing it for attention. Like, I'm not even going to front. It's attention. I think it's lack of attention.
But they die.
I know, but I'm saying they go to that extent. They're gone. That's the furthest you can go for attention. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
With our kids, we've been struggling trying to get people's attention for a very long time. But for corporate America, black men have the suicide rate has risen. They don't feel welcomed, even when they are 1% or CEO. Baby, you're still not going to be invited into the country club. You're still not going to be. And when you are invited, they're going to make a spectacle out of you because you are the anomaly. Look at this nigga we trained. No. Like, and I'm sorry to say it like that, but to be real, like
it is.
You have to really be comfortable with yourself and know that you're enough without anybody's validation. And that has nothing to do with color. That has everything to do with self. I am self-validated. I don't need anyone else to tell me that I'm worth it, to tell me that I'm what I'm here for is a purpose. I don't need any of that. So when you get to a point where self-validation is enough, no matter what color that person is, white or not, you don't need approval. And I think, black males seek approval, especially in the work field, because that's where we learned it from. We learned what a man is from a white male. American black men have learned what the epitome of a man is from a white man. You provide for your wives. You cheat on your wives. You don't respect women. Like, that is something that black men have never done. Black men have always respected women. This is a new phenomenon. This is a new culture that black men have started to disrespect their women because white males don't respect women, period. Doesn't matter what color you are. They don't respect them. They think that they're beneath. So when we start dissecting all these cultural things that are happening and we're cross-analyzing when it comes to white men and black men, like, come on, y'all. Like, at the end of the day, you got to know you. You got to know what's good for you. You got to know your history. You got to know what's worth instilling in your children, like Leah said. Be a good person. That's what you instill in your child. Be a good person regardless of what that person looks like. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody has been watching Raising Dion. I'm done. But briefly, there was an episode.
It came
Spoiler.
out, but I didn't watch it.
You got to watch it. Spoiler. Black kid, new to a school. It is a private school. Majority white. He's one of 5. Some lady made a joke about him being a raisin in a bowl of milk, which is hilarious. He stand out. Okay. But y'all, he lost his dad and his mom has to.
Michael B. Jordan,
yeah, he lost Michael B. Jordan. That's his father. And his mother has to explain to him what it means to be a black man in America when people look at you because they have preconceived notions of who you are. To an 8-year-old. I wrote a status. Somebody was like, I feel like 8 is too. My kids are young. Like, I don't want to. No, sorry, black parents. You got a whole new curriculum. You got to teach your kids when they're young. The moment they start understanding words, that's when you need to start explaining what it means to me.
It's so
to be
scary,
black.
but it's like, it's true.
It's necessary.
It's fine, if anything, as a parent, because there's conversations with Mia that I don't even know how to begin to explain.
Right.
And I saw Roots when I was 6. I don't know what. I got to ask my mom that. So what made you let me watch that? Or, whatever. I got to figure it out. But I thought about letting her watch that, and I'm just like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Mia about to see dicks. She about to see vaginas, titties. And I have to have a conversation with her after that. That, like all the grandparents you're mad at, I don't know how to...
It's traumatizing.
...even begin to explain that to her. I feel like I'd watch Roots now and break the fuck down.
But it's painful.
Like, it'd be bad.
But I think through pain comes lessons. And mind you, I'm not a parent. I'm not going to act like it's going to be easy breezy when I finally have a kid and I show them whatever. But I think a good thing to follow Roots is Hidden Colors. Hidden Colors has 4 volumes.
Did I watch? No, I never watched it. I couldn't even
oh my gosh.
After
it's 4 volumes of straight black excellence. Like everything is charting back from the Aboriginal Moors, the first black person, right? So that's how you follow up something that's so detrimental. Like, okay, this happened in America, but baby, look what happened in 1700. Look what happened, whatever BD
the
or
thing
AC,
with kids
you know what I'm
is, though,
saying?
they're so... Mine alone is so... Like, I'm thinking about letting Mia watch Amistad. No. Fragile, yes. And there's 2 ways it can go. This could really fuck Mia up, right? Like, me and Mia sat there watching Soldiers Coming Home from War and boohoo cried, right? Like, me and Mia. So Mia has the emotional trait like me. But if it doesn't get her that way, it'll get Mia in the other way it gets me, where I got an issue with white people for a couple of days after that. And where I know to gauge what the fuck I'll say, she don't. She gets somebody, you made us slaves. Like, she's going to go to school and show the fuck out.
Okay, so because this 8-year-old just got his first dose of what it is to be discriminated against. He's 8. He doesn't fucking get it.
Oh, because of the race.
So what his mom did, right? And she's light skinned with curly hair. Her father was probably, I don't know, German or something like that, because the family seems very black, but she's very like high yellow and her hair is like very loose.
I saw the preview.
So you have to infer that she's other as well, shit, yeah. Right? But her sister is dark skinned. Her sister was like, you got to tell him. She was like, what do I look? He just lost his dad, blah, blah, blah. You sound like mommy. This is just like the episode that happened, blah, blah, blah. You need to tell him before it gets worse. Like, stop ignoring it. This is happening. This is a thing in America. You have to say it. So the way that she explained it, I really shout out to Raising Dion. That was a really good series on Netflix. This mother was like, so how did you feel about what happened today? So he was like, I don't know. Why did he treat me like that? Like, just random. Why did he treat me like that? He was like, baby, you're strong, you're smart, you're handsome. There are certain things about you that are going to intimidate other people because you're just too much. And then when she was like, you're handsome, he was like, Mom. Like, he turned right back into an 8-year-old. But she was like, you have to be more careful than other children. And I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. And so he put his head down. And she was like, it's not your fault. You are brilliant and blah, blah, blah. But they will judge you because their parents didn't treat them the right way. Their parents didn't tell them how to treat people. I blame his dad. Mind you, this is the 50-year-old principal. I blame his mom and dad for not teaching him the right way. And that's how you get through to an 8-year-old. Dang, his mom didn't tell him the right thing to do. Speak on their level.
But it's the truth that I blamed all my friends. I feel like their parents raised them that way.
Yeah, it's a way to get through to kids, and it's not as trivial as we think. And I think the moment where it's necessary to happen, it will happen. It will flow. I don't condone forcing anything. I think very gradual so that you're comfortable too. Because if you just hop right in, fuck it, slavery, it's like, oh, you don't know what to follow after that. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely say all the parents out there who's trying to educate their kids who are black or brown on, racial discrimination and injustices and things like that, just prep yourself for the possible questions that can happen, but also prep yourself for the emotional breakdown that may occur or may not occur. They may have hella questions. They may not break down. I think
I would have to explain it to her in a way, and that's something that I'm dreading, but for because I'm, based on the last episode, the adult that I'm trying to make, I'm seeing her as like a fantastic. She's very aware. She's a great combination of Micah. She's very she has a lot of empathy and a lot of understanding like her father, because he is that way. And then she's just very strong. She's very honest. She's very straightforward. She's very ambitious like me. Mm-hmm. These are all the things that I'm trying to instill. I'm trying to make like a superhuman if I can. Mm-hmm. And it requires a lot of effort. It requires a lot of effort on my part as a parent, and her dad's part as a parent, Micah's part as a godmother. It requires a lot of effort on everybody. Tarsha, Paige, everybody who's in her life. It requires a lot of effort on us.
Watch it together. Like I think
how I feel about slave movies already, and then I saw that, but I have not seen Roots or Amistad since I was literally 6 or 7 years old.
I think Amistad is a little lighter. I saw Amistad when I was 10. When did it come out? 1999.
I feel like
Amistad came out.
I saw both them shits and it was wild.
Personally, even Django will be light, because Django has a lot of
cussing, but she can.
I know, but yeah. Django has a comedic thing to it, but the black man still rises, right? So I feel like on the strength of easing her into what slavery movies are like, with a little comedy. And Tarantino movies are very bloody, so maybe not Django. But I thought of Django because it's like a comedic relief. Yeah. We gotta wear these goddamn sheets over here. Whose wives making this? Like, it was hilarious. But honestly, I think just group effort. Like, you don't have to do that by yourself. And I know that is a very touching moment for a mother and a child to have. But I think it will ease whatever it is if all of us are there, and then it can be like an open discussion. She'll probably just direct all the questions to you. But for your support and for her support, I think certain things need to be shared.
In those situations, what I'm concerned more about is her demeanor when I'm not around, and the questions or the feelings that it forces her to have when I'm not around.
What did you do?
I can't even, because you got to think about it. Before I even saw that, I used to always ask my mom if I was adopted, because she was like high yellow. My mom's, so my mom's high yellow and I'm dark skinned, and I used to ask, am I adopted? Because I don't even look like you. And then I don't know if I could say racism was. I mean, we're old, but we ain't that old. That racism was more known back then. But my mom was in school at the time when I was growing up around that time. So I went to school with her a lot. So I learned little tidbits about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these type of things. I learned these things just kind of being around her. You hear about them loosely. So I don't remember what my take on it was. But before that even happened, I'm asking you who here, am I adopted? Because you're white and I'm not. And she was like, no, baby, you're not white.
So did you ever, so let me tell you what type of kid I was. After I watched Amistad, my dad, and my brother had a long conversation about it and what it meant and blah, blah, blah. Till recently, I'm not able to have a conversation about race in front of white people. It makes me uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying?
For some reason, I feel like I'm with it.
But I'm saying.
So, until recently. Okay,
you get what I'm trying to say?
I feel like, let's do it.
But until recently, and you just became this like gung-ho, I'm finna go for your throat. You know what I'm saying? You weren't like that this whole time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, something happened. You got more educated when Black History. You and I had those conversations late night, blah, blah, blah.
But even still, I won't say I'm still not. To me, I feel like I'm nowhere near as educated as you are, or as anybody else. But I'm ready to defend.
Yes.
Whatever they try to
exactly
fucking go against.
And my thing is, when I'm not gonna call it shame, but it resembles shame.
It's awkward. It's like an uncomfortable conversation. Because what if they're a nice white person?
But
you kind of feel a little bad.
And we're used to oppression, and we know what that feels like, and we don't want anybody to be uncomfortable because we're always uncomfortable. Mm. So if I'm always working through uncomfort, I don't want anybody else to go through that shit either. So my thing was, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. Damn, but this kind of happened. So, like I said, until recently,
because that's what I don't have. Okay,
yes.
I get what
so
you mean.
it's uncomfortable to me. So after I saw Amistad, I'm 10. I go back to school. I don't talk about it. I have nothing to say to anybody about what I just saw this weekend. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
and
not like that.
You said what?
It's not like that.
And but once again, I feel like Mia is intuitive enough to do certain things for certain people. And this is what I pick up about your child. Like, mind you, I'm not with her every day. But what I pick up about Mia is Mia knows when to do certain things. And obviously, she's different around her dad. She's different around you. She's different around Pop and Nana and Nana. Like, everybody has a different Mia, right? And that's just the way that the relationship has built around that.
I see it happening with her friends. We're on the school bus on Tuesday for the field trip. And I don't know if you saw my tweet or I posted on Instagram too, but I don't know what happened. I don't know what the little girl said to her. All I heard says, Anaya, my mom is right next to me. Oh my gosh, stop. And I was like...
So, like I said...
But I heard her talking about what she did that day or whatever. And I can see her saying it in that little situation to some white kid that she's friend with. Well, you guys used to be slave owners. You guys used to own us. Stuff like that. I can see that being the case. And then what it is it's kind of like telling your kid that Santa Claus doesn't exist, which I told Mia that a long time ago.
Right.
I also told her, don't go around saying that to people. Because some kids still believe in that, and it makes them feel good.
So
and she was fine with it. So I guess I could try to do the slavery thing in that type of. Don't go around calling all your white friends slave owners.
But think about it. You can. But the way that it's gonna be, like, I feel like after the fact, this is a sensitive subject for America. Adults even have a difficult time talking about this because it's touchy, and people have lost their lives, and they lost their moms, and they lost their dads, and they lost their sons, and their daughters, and their sisters. Like, when you break it down to that level, I honestly believe kids are able to breathe in and understand the capacity of what they possibly could say that could possibly trigger things. Mind you, I'm pretty sure little white kids are not watching Amistad.
I'm almost positive.
You know?
They're not watching.
Like, I know they're not. And, like, you know
why?
Why? Because that's not their history.
Yeah, why? Why would they?
Why would they? You can make her watch 42.
I liked 42. 42 didn't stress me out too much.
I feel like let her Thurgood Marshall. Like, it's hints of discrimination. It's Ruby Bridges, the first black girl to be integrated into any white school. The first black girl, Ruby Bridges, was the first black little girl who got integrated. They said, hey, we want your kid to go to this white school. They were spitting at her, throwing stuff at her. Leah's gonna be like, what? Like, I can just imagine how that would be. Mind you, that is a light. Hell, she can watch Remember the Titans. There are a lot of movies that show discrimination against people of color that is not as heavy as Amistad and still give the same general.
So what I didn't think about, which I just thought about, is Liana. Liana's about to be 13 next month, and as far as I know, she hasn't seen Roots or Amistad or any of these type of things. And I've had more, like in-depth conversations with her about stuff. But I got to sit both the kids down and let them both kind of see. I got to talk to my mom about it and ask her, what made you decide to show me that? Because I feel like we didn't show them that. I think with my mom, it's a lot of situations of she's raising my sister almost the same way she raised me. She was tougher on me, but I was the first one. She's raising us almost in the same way that we know the definition of hard work. And et cetera, et cetera. But there's a few things sprinkled in there that my sister and Mia won't ever have. So far, Roots and Amistad aren't something they've had so far.
And that's you got to do it.
And we have to find a way to instill them. So it's like, all right, come on, sis, it's me and you. We got to kind of do it to the two of them. You let me see Roots at a young age. I said 6 because we left Detroit. I was born in Detroit. Shout out to Detroit. Whoop, whoop. We left Detroit when I was like 7 or 8, I'd say, and I went to Jamaica. We left officially back then, and I went to Jamaica for the rest of the time. So I had to have seen Roots around that time, and that shit was just, it scared me. But it didn't affect me with white people, because remember,
it didn't. That's what I'm saying. I was not affected by white people.
Last night. I preferred to be around white people still for a good amount of time. Up until I'd say the last couple of years, on the strength of I'm around white people and they don't size me up. They don't automatically think I'm the shit. This typical shit that black people do. I'm not even gonna lie. We do it for whatever fucking reason. I don't.
It's self-hate.
I don't, but they do.
Jealousy.
And white people don't give me this type of pressure. So I prefer to be around them.
Yeah, that's why they don't give you that pressure. They see me and
they see me. It's a hello. It's a whatever, and we go about our day. I think that's the turn. Me realizing how they probably see me anyway, which is why that's not the case. So with my black people, I'd rather be around you guys at this point. Now there is a group of ignorant ones that we talked about last episode or Carlin episode that I can't be bothered. But for the most part, I'm with the black people. Like, I'd rather roll with them. If I got to drop some gems, I'd rather drop it with them. All I can do is try to say something that'll help make our situation better. And again, like I said, I don't hate white people at all, but there's definitely a level of
disdain.
Yes, and there's a thin patience there, and you gotta just tread a tightrope with me. Anything you do that seems even the slight bit condescending, we're gonna have a problem. And I've developed that more so as an adult. I think my kid, thinking about how I handled it, I gotta just find a way. But you gotta understand, like, times are different now. And that's what worries me. Back then, social media and things that may or may not come up, these things weren't as big back then. I'm not saying race wasn't a big issue back then, but now that we see a black person getting killed by a cop every other fucking day for no fucking reason, we can see the actual footage of it.
Now it's
like
online.
Now it's more visible.
In 18 whatever, before segregation, they saw it in real life. So it's been 55 years since we've seen that on an everyday basis. Right? So what you're saying is true. It's coming back. Like,
it's going to affect her. It's going to affect her different.
It repeats itself in a different way, though.
And it could affect her differently than it affected me. While I saw that, I still went to private schools all the time, and I saw a bunch of white kids. The school my kid goes to, it's predominantly Latin. There's a whole bunch of Latin people there. So she knows more Spanish than me probably at this point. She can kind of speak Spanish a little bit. So it's something that I feel like me and my mom got to talk about. I don't think my mom is as scared as I am. I feel like my mom is even worse. Because I feel like she let me see Roots, but she wasn't even all the way aware of what she was kind of springing on me. That might have been her first time seeing it too. Because think about it, she's from Jamaica, and slavery, I don't remember slavery being that much of a topic when I grew up in Jamaica in school. We didn't talk about it too much. It was like, yeah, slavery happened, and then we moved on with our lives, and that was it.
Thing. Y'all didn't get the worst of it. Jamaicans didn't get the worst of it. Haitians didn't get the worst of it.
Haitians wasn't having that shit at all.
They was like,
Haitians said, no, bitch, what you not gonna do is this.
Shit, even, what's that place? Rio? What?
Brazil?
Brazil didn't even get the worst of it. And that is the highest population of black people on the planet.
I heard that like literally recently, and that was mind blowing.
It's the highest. The Portuguese came and got like 500,000 of them. And like took them to Brazil. They were settled by Portuguese. Anyways, like I said, like, I feel like you never know how your child's gonna respond to something, but honestly, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And parents, I'm not gonna lie, Roots and Amistad were rough. They're really rough to see. I think as an adult, because Mia watches them, I'll rewatch them with her. And like I mentioned on the very first episode, we're on episode 18 or 19 now, whatever. I can't do slave movies. Like, it's just, and these are the epitome of the ones I cannot watch, right? Because this is us on the boat. This is Middle Passage. This is this type of shit. Like, it's so hard to watch, but it's our history. It's what happened to us, and I think this is what makes us have, if it can do anything, it should give you a bigger sense of pride as to why you can't be the typical blacks that they fucking treat us like. You can't be the one that gets caught up in bullshit. Maybe this will help you make one better decision that'll save your life as opposed to what you would have done had you not seen it. This is what the fuck we're coming from.
Yeah.
Right? And then maybe go see you said 4 colors?
Hidden Colors.
It's
volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can get them on Amazon.
Amazing. And these apparently tell you all the things that we come from, all the greatness we come from. I'm with Janet, where everybody came from Africa, so everybody's black once upon a time. What I read once, I don't know if this is true, tell me if you heard it, that I guess there was a certain people that ended up going like a cave for some reason, and this how they ended up white or some shit like that. It was like, because everyone's supposed to be this color at once upon a time. So how did white people become white?
So hemisphere, right? So when you think about migration, you think about mutation of animals, like it's the same shit, like literally. human beings scattered the earth, right? And
that's what this thing
Antarctica. In Antarctica, I don't need melanin in Antarctica. There's no fucking sun for 6 months out of the. So if you want to go back to science, like, it makes sense. It makes complete sense why people started to discolor or change.
They didn't need it.
Change in skin complexion or whatever. They didn't need it. And that's why a lot of white women have larger calves. No. White people have bigger legs, like larger calves, like their hips
they have
are
way
spreader.
Bigger babies.
They were mountain.
Adorable.
It was mountain people, and black people have generally skinny legs, like, and we have very short, coarse hair. Like, we don't need hair in Africa. Like, it's just so many things that weather and earth has contributed to the way the evolution. I use that word because depending on the climate, you start to evolve based on what that climate calls for. What I read,
they called it a mutation. They called it a mutation. And okay.
Yeah. So based on that, personally, my hair doesn't need to thrive in Florida because this is not Floridian hair. Where I originated from, that's probably where it would thrive. In Atlanta, people hair that are natural, they do a little better because the climate is different.
I do good in Atlanta.
The moisture, it holds better. Your styles hold better because not as humid. Like, just think about science. Think about the earth. Think about the world. Like, things start to make sense that way. So I don't think it's so far-fetched that we all start off black and we all of a sudden start changing hues. I don't think that's so far-fetched.
The thing I read had it on some, they was up in some cold areas and there was a big old group of them, and the things that all this melanin was, because I mean, we're less likely to get skin cancer on the strength of having melanin.
You don't need it.
But that's if you're in the sun all the time. If you're not, then that's something you don't need. That doesn't benefit you.
People who get lighter in the wintertime, you're inside. Like, people have told me, Micah, then you got light. You been inside? Because when you don't have direct contact with the sunlight,
different noses and butts.
This is what happens.
Different noses and butts. So yes, that's true.
Yeah, like, you need a wider nose when you're in the Alps, right? Like, you need more air to circulate. You need more air to circulate through your system. Your nose needs to be wider if you're in Antarctica. Goddamn, So
yeah,
I mean,
it just guys, one of the main things that made me start this podcast was just the whole idea of the conversations me and Micah had and the things that I've considered myself a very informed woman, but I got more and more informed when hearing it. And so it's that whole slavery thing is really tough to put on your kids and parents. I'm not even going to pretend I know how to do it, but I just know it has to be done. So I'm going to find a way to trickle this into my kids. And once I do it, I will share, because we've shared our vaginas with you guys today.
We did a lot today.
So
turn up.
I want to end this episode on this. With the family, I can't, my phone is on live. I can't pick it up. The family of the black man that was killed in his own home by the white lady. And she got sentenced to 10 years. And the kid everyone hugged her and all this shit.
And he just died. They blew his head. They shot. So the little, So
that's a different one.
The white woman who went to jail?
The woman who went into his house,
the police officer,
yeah, because she thought it was her house.
The one he
was sitting on the couch eating ice cream and she shot him.
Yes, but the one who said, I know the person across the hall, like the guy who was a witness to everything.
Oh, well, not him. I'm talking about we can get on him later, but I'm talking about the actual case.
Oh, he died. They shot him after he confessed.
Yeah, right.
That's that bullshit, bro.
After he testified.
Yeah.
So
shot him in the head.
We'll start with him. So the guy who got killed in his home, and she got sentenced to 10 years. The judge hugged her. The bailiff hugged her. Everyone, hugged her. The brother of the victim hugged her. All these things happen. How do you feel about all this?
It's bullshit. You already know. This is just... Oh, so you know what I thought of again? Okay. White people know white people, right? White people have a certain sympathy for other white people because they are, right? I have a certain sympathy for niggas with dreads and goals. I have a certain understanding of what I feel like they're capable of because I know black people, because I am black, right? So when you put the shoe on the other foot,
right,
you have a white judge, a white bailiff, a white police officer. I think naturally they're sick, but in their minds, it's justified by being afraid and being right. Like, you're always right? You can do no wrong. You are the most just. You are the superior race. You are everything that you've always been taught. And the moment you do something wrong, it's pacified, because there's no way you could have done that in your right mind.
You rather
know why?
The white boy that like raped somebody too. He did a mass.
Yeah, he raped somebody, and they said
he's too privileged.
He can't be charged because he's too privileged, because he doesn't know what his consequences are, because he always gets let off. So there's no way he'll know the levity of what he's done, because they don't charge him based on his actions. They charge him based on his privilege. So he got off. But that's what I'm saying. The privilege behind being white American is a sickness. It puts you above humanity. And there's nothing above humanity but humanity. We're all human. There's nothing like distinguishing you from someone else other than like the color of your skin or the width of your nose, to be real, and the curl pattern or lack thereof of your hair. There's nothing.
Or lack thereof.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's Leah. Honestly, I feel like they hugged her like, oh my God, like, I know you must have broke down because we're the superior race and things like this don't happen to us. Like, I swear to God, it's a sickness, bro.
It's black people that hugged her.
No, fuck that. You said the judge?
The judge
and the
black.
bailiff?
The bailiff was black. These are black women. The judge was black. The bailiff was black. The brother was black.
Well, that's self-hate.
And this is okay.
So my whole plight, all y'all boys, I thought they was white.
They were black. But that was a good point for the whites. That's the perfect point for the whites.
But that's a way to prove that you're on the white side. Let's sympathize with the white.
And so what they found out about the judge was, like, I guess they need votes or support, whatever the fuck they need. And I think it was either by, they found something like whatever she had going on, it benefited her to be sympathetic to this bitch and what she did.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but I don't know what the bailiff's plight was.
Bait. Yeah. That's what that was.
So the whole situation for me was mind blowing because I was instantly when I thought she got 10 years, I was instantly aggravated. You walked into somebody's house and shot them. When you walk into your house, when we came in your house and you got in here,
she thought it was her own home.
She thought it was her house.
She had a long night and she was so tired.
When you came in here, the first thing you said was like, it smells like home. Your house smells like your house. Your shit is in your place. Now, I'm not saying this bitch couldn't have been frazzled, right? But this nigga was sitting on the couch eating ice cream. I just heard that shit like last week. That's what he was doing. He wasn't in there all black with a goddamn ski mask on. He was on his fucking couch. And he got sentenced to 10 years. She got sentenced to 10 years for killing him. Now, I saw arguments on both sides. Think about somebody. Now, me, I have a terrifying fear of being kidnapped. Mm-hmm. I walk in my house and somebody on my couch. If I got a gun, I'm probably shooting too. But, bitch, I know what my house look like. So that's strike one. And strike two, I'm thinking of the people who have keys to my houses. So it's like, well, there was like two of y'all. I'm thinking of a few things. I don't think I'd be as trigger happy as she was. Now, she's an officer. She may have PTSD, trauma. She may have just got whatever the fuck. There's mad reasons why this could have happened. But all I'm thinking is I have no sympathy for this, because if it was the other way around and his black ass walked into her fucking house and shot and killed her, he would have got life on some dumb shit. No matter what the fuck his excuse was, no matter what his defense was, no matter how frazzled he was, he would have got thrown under the jail.
So the reason why I didn't bring this up and the reason why I don't talk about this bullshit is because it's not going to change. And I tell you, I say this with the utmost respect for whatever law we think we have that is justifies both black and white or brown people. We have been complaining and we have been displaying what it means to be at a disservice when it comes to the law. They continue to show us we do not matter. Finally, someone gets indicted. Thank God. Oh, but she gets 10 years and possibly she gets off a little less.
Yeah, she'll definitely get out way before that.
If she does good behavior.
She'll get out way before that.
They're showing us what we mean and we mean nothing. Like, this is the first indictment. This is the first one that actually went through out of all of the murders that have happened in the past 5 years. This is the first one. And ironically, she's a woman.
Yes, that's what I'm
So
saying.
how about that?
And she's a woman.
So how about that?
There's like weird little fucking undertones on that.
Let's talk about the privilege of that.
A woman is the one who finally gets charged, and mad white men.
If we're gonna let someone serve it, let it be the white woman.
Bro. Like, it's shit crazy.
Let it be the white woman. But like I'm saying, we can do conspiracy theories all day, and
it's no conspiracy. It's no conspiracy. It's what the fuck we've naturally dealt with for however long it is. If the roles were switched, it would have been fucked up, and
it will always be that way.
What we got on live is that he said, I think they truly believe it was an accident. Now my thing is, I get you.
I don't give a fuck.
But I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
We've locked niggas up for less for years. Niggas get weed. Weed is legal in mad states right now, and niggas is still serving mad time for weed. And they don't hurt nobody but them fucking selves.
But what about the mentally disabled black boy who killed his cousin on some wrestler shit?
That was him, right? The one that was coming
in Fort Lauderdale. He didn't even he didn't even mean to. So, like, what are you saying to me? That was a mistake?
The post I read before she even got sentenced to her time, it was the weakness of every race is white women tears. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because they showed this fucking black judge going and hugging this bitch after she sentenced her to 10 years. It's okay. Handed her a Bible. The fucking bailiff sitting there combing her hair. I saw this bitch on the stand. I don't give a fuck. She didn't look sympathetic to me. I ain't see no tears fall out this whole eyes when I was looking. I was over it. And my thing is, I don't feel like you weren't probably sympathetic, or maybe you don't feel bad. I'm sure everybody feel bad when they get caught. Like, what the fuck? How many times y'all been cheated on? Every nigga that ever cheated on me felt terrible. After I caught him, then he's crying and he's sympathetic and he want his family and et cetera, et cetera. There was such a level of annoyance with that whole situation. It was interesting to see her brother, to see his brother, the victim's brother, hug her, because I was just like, I didn't get mad at him. My first thought was, this man is saved on another level. And this man has a level of forgiveness that I am nowhere near. Somebody kills one of my people on a close level like that, I'm hot. And it's not much to talk about. Throw the bitch under the jail. And I get it. Mistakes happen and all that. But what made it even worse in her case is they went back and found mad examples of her getting written up for misconduct and for her doing racist ass shit in her past. She's been written up multiple times for making poor decisions. So she has a history of making poor decisions, and they have been racially charged. And then she comes into somebody's, and then which to me, okay, and I'll admit this to me was irrelevant, but they brought the fact that she was like fucking somebody that was on her team or something like that. I was like, we don't really need to know that, but whatever. But the point of bringing that up was she was sending sex messages like, I'm finna bust this pussy open when I see you, or I'm finna suck that dick tonight. Like, she was saying shit like that. So her excuse for being so tired and so weary that she didn't know what she was doing is irrelevant. That was the point of bringing that up. You walked in and killed this man in his home. And yes, 10 years is a long time if she was going to serve all 10. But we all know she's not going to serve all 10. And adding insult to injury is watching these fucking black people sit there and hug this bitch. Everybody but his brother. He the only one that's allowed to have all this extra sympathy and understanding for her fucking tears that were or were not there. The video I saw, I ain't seen. Her face wasn't wet at all. And that was crazy to me, because had it been a nigga, he would have been thrown under the jail. And this leads into the other situation that just recently happened. I don't remember this woman's name either. I'll put it in the description for the podcast. But she was killed in her home. She was inside, and some white officer shot her in the house. I think she was going to visit her nephew or something like that. And she was killed, and she was in her. I think they said she was going to visit her nephew, and I don't know the gist of it, but it was exact same situation of somebody being killed in their home or somewhere they're allowed to be. And a white officer decided to shoot them and kill them. So he got charged, and he's about to get fired. But they're like, I just saw that post today. Before he was going to get fired, but he decided to resign before that. And he got charged with murder. Why the fuck do these type of things keep happening?
Because they do not care. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it all comes back to what America is built on. What we pledge allegiance to. Do y'all know the second verse? Do y'all know do you know?
I didn't learn the second verse about 2 years ago.
Do you know? Do you know the Declaration of Independence? What it means? Like, what? Like, that's what I'm saying. This is not for us. Nothing here is for us. It's against us, period. So I feel like no matter what we do, no matter how much we bitch and we moan and we nag or whatever, no matter how many videos that are clear.
The woman was playing video games with her nephew, because I keep seeing that cartoon image of them going around. She's sitting on the couch playing video games with her nephew. They shot and killed this fucking woman from outside.
She's worthless. We don't need her. She's worthless. It's one less
and
black person
her
on
family,
the earth.
her family had a little commentary. I saw the video. They was like, we don't want to hug nobody. We ain't hugging no fucking body. We not hugging this white man that killed our fucking, and even the father of the guy that died by the white woman police officer. Even the father was just like, I want to be her friend one day. And it seemed like he was in church or something, like giving like a sermon almost. So my thing is, these might be like really, I even heard they might be Haitian. So these might be really religious people. Island people tend to be very, very religious. So they might be really religious and they might be saved and it might be like a Christ thing and all that. And I get it. But I mean, these two situations are just like mind blowing, because y'all went from killing niggas for pull them over and killing them, or choking them out on the street and Eric Garner, all these things, but to just shoot them in their fucking home.
So this is my thing. This is how they level the playing field. They actually indict these people and they give them a sentence. But they give them a sentence with sympathy. We're sorry that we have to make you an example.
And they make blacks
hug
them ever so delicately.
No, but we've been doing that. We've been cooning. And that's survival. And to be real, that's survival. That's a defense mechanism. That is a survival technique. I'm completely sure the house nigga was not comfortable doing that shit, but it was survival. I'm completely sure that coon ass Uncle Tom was doing that kiss ass and shit because it was survival.
With his the motherfuckers at the court, we don't think so. But I'm telling house nigga, yes, you'd get fucked up if you did it.
It's for a reason. Nothing is not for a reason. I feel like black people always do something for the benefit of themselves.
But and then to answer that, while that may or may not be true, I don't know if you ever heard this, but I don't remember where I heard this from, but it always stuck with me. It was just like, how fucked up, they didn't say it this way, but I'm gonna say it this way. How fucked up would we be if people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were as fucking weak as we were?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If they cared so much about a raise, or they cared so much about not getting fucked up. Let's talk about Harriet Tubman. Let's talk about Rosa. Everybody who decided, I'm going to stand for something. Fuck the raise. I can literally get killed for this type of shit. How fucked up would we be if we went like that?
Everybody ain't built the same. And that's why these niggas is in history and these lame ass niggas is doing what they doing. Everybody is not built the same.
True.
They're not. You come here for a reason. You have a purpose for whatever it is. You either choose your calling or you listen to your calling. That's what I honestly believe. So let's just say you have the opportunity to do the right thing. This judge had the opportunity to do the right thing. She chose the wrong thing either because of fear. I think it's fear for a lot of things.
No, they said, like I said, her campaign, her judge election, whatever the fuck judges got to go through, it was funded by something that would defend this white woman. So she kind of, it's like, you see what I'm saying? It was like, oh, this is why she did it.
But that's what I'm saying. It's for a reason.
You're right. Yeah,
it's not for no reason. She just didn't coon just because she wanted to be a coon ass nigga.
Right.
She cooned because it was beneficial to her. That's why most coons were coons. That's why most house niggas ratted on field niggas, because it was beneficial to them. And so now we're at this situation where everybody is trying to have one up on somebody, sell somebody to somebody else so that their situation is better. Shit is just a different picture. Same shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not blown away by this bullshit. I'm really not. I'm over this bullshit. I'm sick of hearing the same things. Thank you for
but I'm sorry, go ahead from there.
But I'm just saying, it's just like, oh, thank God it's a white woman that gets to take the burden of all of the white people who have ever wronged black people. Get the F out of here. You still pacified her. So at the end of the day, like I said,
because one video I saw said that they were just like, at first they were mad because it was just like, so of all the niggas y'all done killed, the first person to actually do jail time is a woman. But then they looked into her history of misconduct and was like, well, fuck it, lock the bitch up.
Cool, let's talk about it.
Lock that bitch up.
Meeks Mill, 19, in the system. I don't know if anybody has seen his Prime documentary, You Sleep. Literally, you sleep. Y'all, Literally. Oh, okay. Leah's running. Hello, everyone. So
I didn't see it, but you told me about it.
So Meek Mill's judge, she was a black woman, whatever. On top of everything, when he was 19, he was wrongfully accused, and they did not find out until recently that he was wrongfully accused when Jay-Z decided to pick up his case and pay for all his lawyers. So my thing was, everybody on that case, by the way, those crooked ass cops were black. This may or may not have anything to do with what we're talking about, but for the most part, they were black. So you mean to tell me that out of finding all of this evidence for this person being innocent, right? It takes a billionaire to actually do his research, a black billionaire to do his research and find all of the nooks and crannies where everybody else missed for him to be let off. Like, shit like that just blows my mind. Like, I just don't understand why people don't really understand the plight of America and the judicial system. Like, everybody is working towards something that is beneficial for themselves. Like, nothing is for the common good, the greater good. It's for themselves. So, unfortunately, this white woman had to take it. But I mean, she's a woman. I mean, we take that anyway.
We take the brunt and the whatever of bullshit. And I don't know. You gotta watch the video of her crying. I'm sorry, but I ain't feel bad for none of this shit she was doing.
And I won't.
Yeah, all that crying and shit she's doing. I'm like, bitch, don't nobody believe you, bitch. Cut it out. Don't nobody believe that shit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just my stance on it. I honestly feel like I feel no sympathy. I feel like they finally decide to make an example and they chose a woman.
Well, right after that, this white man has killed somebody. He's killed this lady in the house playing video games with her nephew, minding her fucking business. This bitch wasn't in the streets doing nothing. She was in the house with her nephew playing video games, and they killed this woman. So I'm interested.
What do they think she did?
I don't even know.
And I think that's an even bigger issue. That we know that she was killed and like it wasn't broadcast exactly what she could have done. They thought she could have done. What she was doing at that time was playing video games, nigga. So
and she wasn't a drug lord mother. She wasn't anything, because none of that's come out. All it was they killed an innocent woman, an unarmed woman playing video games with her nephew. That's what they have going around. So I'm just sick whatever the fuck you did it for, it was irrelevant, and he's locked up. But I'm not gonna lie, I've seen his mugshot. He looked like a racist. And while our Nigerian brethren who gave Mila a hard time said she don't look like a black girl that went to HBCU, I have a general idea of what racist ass people look like. He looked like one. He has a weird little beard, looks slightly Hitlerist to me, whatever. And that's the vibe I get from him. So fuck him. And I'm interested to see, he was charged, but I'm interested to see what he actually gets convicted of, because that's the step we often miss. And now that you've locked up one of your women, because women are also always still below, you've locked up one of your women. Let me see what you do with his ass.
They don't care about them.
Let me see what you do with this nigga.
Sorry, briefly.
Tell me.
Black women, you're not a feminist. Stop it.
Oh yeah, Micah's really passionate about that. I was about to be a feminist.
Black women.
What does that sound like? Let's
Black women, you're not a feminist. You can't be a feminist. During civil rights in the 1940s or the 1840s, either one, do your research. White women were having a difficult time finding their voice. They chose to do it at the same time we were trying to reach civil rights, meaning I would like to be treated like a human being.
Bitch, we want to stop getting killed all the time.
Meaning,
we want to be able to eat where y'all eat.
That weighs heavier than you feeling like you have a voice. Just to be completely real.
Okay, then let me devil's advocate here. Has the meaning of that changed at this point?
Femininity?
Feminist. Because I know a lot of black women that are feminists.
Bruh.
So can they?
It's
against
they be all men. Now? Black women cannot be against black men. We need as much support as we can. They need as much support they can get. Black women cannot afford to be a feminist.
Not with black.
The black family is at risk. You have no.
Well, let the whites tell it. They're at risk because. We all fucking everybody. It ain't gonna be.
Listen,
white people.
It's not. We don't care about them.
No, we don't.
We don't care about them, but we don't care about what they feel like they're losing or what they're gaining. Okay? You've gained enough power throughout the centuries. Sorry, whatever happens, happens. Evolution is what it is.
Yo.
Creation is what it is. But to be a feminist as a black woman, you are doing a disservice to your black man. And although we hate them to a certain degree, because we feel like they need to rise the F up, get some balls, and really go out there and take initiative and stop woeing this being and assimilating. They got some trauma they gotta deal with. But before they deal with the trauma, bro, there's no such thing as a black feminist. You sleep. She tried to get you on her bandwagon so she'll have more numbers so that she can get her white female voice out there. And that's just what it is. I'm not speaking off of opinion. To a certain degree, this is history. Look it up. White women decided to have the same march around civil rights. What do you think is more important? Me walking down the street not being shot and killed or mauled by a effing K9, or her being able to tell her husband no? Let's just be real, because that's what it is. I want to work. I want to live. Nigga, what do you think weighs heavier than the other? I would take live for 1,000.
I would take life. I would take
Thank
life.
you.
I think life.
Like, come on.
I think life works. I think it's
That's that feminist stuff, bro. I ain't on that.
You hear what Micah said.
No,
I've always considered making a feminist hat, but I felt like I didn't know enough about what it meant, because I'm not gun-ho. Before I heard any of this, like Micah taught me some things tonight. Before I knew all this, my thought was I knew it. I got the negative connotation of what it meant, which is all about women and we can't stand men, right? And so I was like, well, I like men. I like them a lot, so I can't co-sign that, and I didn't put in as much effort into investigating or figuring out what that meant. And at this point now, we're apparently not trying to be that.
No.
I ride my dog.
We're
not doing that shit.
Nope.
So I get it, but I just, black people, it's so touch and go for us out here. I'm not even gonna lie, it's so touch and go for us out here, and it's so easy to be extremely enraged by the circumstances that we're presented with, and this is why I wish more black people were informed of the things that can be done to us, that are done to us, and where we're coming from. Because regardless, me just seeing what slavery did to our people, from no matter where you're from, I'm American and I'm Jamaican, and there's a difference. Yeah. So me knowing, I grew up learning the Jamaican slavery things, Arawak Indians and them type of things. I grew up learning what happened to them, and I learned more about the slavery stuff that happened here because I saw the roots before I went to Jamaica. And me learning all these things, it made me develop a good sense of pride, and I've always kind of been that way. My mom helped me develop a sense of pride about my dark skin color and how my hair was and all these type of things. And this is where parenting comes into play. My mom is high yellow AF, and my mom would tell me all the time, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, look at your skin, I love it so
even
much.
My mom, she ain't even that dark, and she always raving about my chocolate skin.
Exactly. And so we had parents that made an effort to do these type of things for us, and so I would implore all parents to do these things for your kids. And black people, just be careful. There's so many ways that they could get us. In times like this, I feel how against white people I can sound, or against other, because honestly everybody else is us and then it's everybody else. That's right. How I feel. And I understand how pro us and against everybody else I sound, but that really isn't the case. I don't have beef with anybody else, but I pick us over everything else. So if I have to find a way to just inform us what we need to do, and I do, there is still a little differentiation between island blacks and black Americans, but right. I don't hold it against you at this point. And this is shout out to Micah, shout out to Manny. They've taught me these type of things. We just got to be above reproach when it comes to certain things. And Micah mentioned in a few episodes, not to go too hard on it again, but just teach your kids how to act when they get around police officers. And it's so discouraging, because even if you know how to act around police officers, you can get killed in your own fucking house sitting on the couch eating ice cream. Rest in peace to that man. You can get killed on a couch playing video games with your nephew. Rest in peace to that woman. And these type of things happen to us. There was a white man that killed a black guy. he was on the floor like begging or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And he killed him for a parking space. He got sentenced to like a certain amount of time for what he did too. But I mean, I'ma just say it, like, white people, y'all really out here wilding. Like, and the unfortunate part is you're gonna fuck around and meet people that are prepared to meet you at that level of wilding. And that's what I always worry about when it comes to that. I heard that shit on the news, on Breakfast Club, either this morning or yesterday. It had to be yesterday because I work from home today. They were talking to one of the prosecutors for the crime against the man that got killed in his home. And it was just like, is this a turning point for us that Charlamagne asked, is a turning point for us that we finally got a conviction for the crime or whatever? And he was like, I do think it's a turning point. And I do think it's something that we need to, be happy that we got it, and know it is bullshit that she only got 10 years. But let's be thankful that we got it. And I think a change is coming. This is a black man, but he was like, I think a change is coming. I didn't defend it. There's a law. I don't know the exact name. I promise I'll find all these things when I post the description. But there's a law about, it's not stand your ground, but it's along the lines of, it's about your house. So if you're in your house and you're defending yourself in your house, you can do it. It's not stand your ground. And they were trying to use that in defense of this white woman. But the gag is, bitch, it's not your house.
It's not your home, bro.
But their thing is, well, she thought it was her house.
I don't care what she thought. It is
exactly.
What it is.
So it didn't work. It didn't work. But there's a law for that.
But that's what I'm saying.
And Charlamagne brought it up. They tried to pull every fucking rabbit out the hat for this bitch.
Great length.
Everything to make it okay to do what the fuck she did.
Innocent of a heinous crime, and I got that heinous word from.
They throw mad descriptive terms on us.
Special victims.
SVU, my nigga.
SVU.
Yeah.
Special victims. Okay, bruh. I'm sorry. Like, they are not trying to make it fair. They don't want to make it fair because it's not fair. It will always be nationalist against Negroids and colored and Negro and nigga and Negro, whatever, however you specify, however you classify us as, it will always be that. And that's not a defeatist mindset. That is what it is. We're in America. These niggas is scared for their own population. They think they are, and they are. They think they are diminishing by the moment because they keep mixing.
Be mad at Kanye West all you want, because I don't really fuck with him all the way right now.
His
He's
kids
doing
is
weird
black.
shit. But all his kids are black. And here's a song called Highlight. And he was just like, advice to all my niggas, impregnate a Bridget. So when she have a baby, she'll make another nigga. Just threw that little gem in there, and I was like, is that what you did with Kim? Advice to all my niggas, impregnate a Bridget. So when she have a baby, she'll make another nigga. And he went on, and it was like, well, you're right.
And as pure,
shout out to him for that little line.
As pure as you want the race to be, I feel you. Black on black ain't nothing like that.
Yeah, and I've never agreed with Micah Moore because I've been talking to Jamaican men lately, right? And I resonate more with my Jamaican side of the family because I grew up there a little bit. I only like Jamaican parties, all that type of shit. And Jamaican men, is some things I got to work out with y'all because y'all be trying it. But at the same time, they understand I was raised that way. So, like, I know how to cook Jamaican food. And I know how to get with Jamaican sayings, and I'm down to go to Jamaican parties, and I like to do Jamaican shit. So I even kind of resonate better with Jamaican men than I do with American black men. But I had my longest relationship was with a black man from America. They think Manny is some other shit, but he's not. He's black. He's black American straight up. So I get it. What was the word for staying with your race?
Homogeny.
Homogeny, that one. Me and Micah support homogeny over here 100%. Because as Micah mentioned earlier, black families are at risk. So let's try to find a way to keep that way. Women, we can't afford to be feminists because we need our black men. I love black men. I'm all here for them. We're here for it. Okay, we're here for it.
Dead ass.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Either next episode, I feel like we went a little heavy this episode. So next episode, I'm gonna try to be a little light if I can. But I think episode I want to have. I thought about this the other day. I want to have an episode that gets like really. harsh. Oh my gosh. Gets really harsh. Like, we're going to talk about, like, just really fucked up things that's happened to black people. And we're going to start from the rough part. So we're going to talk about the Middle Passage type shit. We're going to talk about blacks selling blacks. We're going to talk about, what's the bucking, what's the name of it?
Mandingo fighting.
Fine. We're going to talk about that type of stuff. We're going to talk about, Tuskegee experiment. That shit was a lot of black people.
Stepping on black children's heads when they're first born. Jesus Christ.
We're gonna have an episode to go. That's gonna be a really heavy episode. So I'm gonna put a lot of warnings and caution signs on that. But this is
putting them in a hot box naked.
Yeah.
Because they ran away.
That's gonna teach them. You know what I mean? If you've never seen any of these slave movies, just like Google what the Middle Passage was. Maybe see a snippet of it. The shit was mind blowing. The way they packed us up like fucking sardines. Like, it's just crazy. So we're gonna have a whole podcast about that. And Mike is gonna shine in this one. Mike is gonna shine. Because she knows, right? And the little tidbits I know, we're gonna throw these out. I had Googled the Tuskegee experiment one time. Like, this is a while, but a couple years ago.
All type of shit.
Oh my gosh, the things they did to black men back then, like, it was wild. Just to see, let's see what the fuck could happen if we inject a human with this
syphilis.
Let's see what happens with syphilis. Let's see what your dick do when we do that. Like, this is what the fuck they did to us. So we're gonna have a whole episode about that. I'm gonna gauge how aggressive the next episode is and try to make it a little light for you guys, but I think you need to be informed. I would not feel like I'm doing my due diligence if I did not do that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for another riveting episode, or listening to another riveting episode. Let us say it for you. Shout out to our sponsors, me and Nicole, who ain't gave us nothing yet. Shout out to Two Kiss Kraft Co.
Yay.
For these lovely cups that we have. And we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it was a little heavy or whatever, but